Testing, 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 testing. I don't know if I can hear myself. Okay, I think I can't. Today's show is about feminine balance, the best herb for balancing your hormones, ladies. And I think this is going to be a good talk because we're going to drop some knowledge that I think is very important to women. You know, women need to know that their hormones are essential for their overall health and well-being. Hormones play a role in everything from menstruation to menopause, and they also affect your mood, energy levels, and your weight. And that's just to mention a few. So, if you want to call in, let me see. Allow call-ins. Yeah, you can call in. You sure can. I like that feature. Okay, let's see. Waiting on my herbalist to pop in. You're always a little slow. Come on, bro. We got to figure out how to get him right in sometimes because he don't ever just come right in. The host. He's a host. All right. Feminine balance. Feminine balance. The best search for balancing your hormone. Now, the good thing about our show is we constantly talk about all the different herbs that benefit the human body. I mean, it's, herbs are the only place you can get minerals, nutrients, and trace elements. Period. There's no other place. You're not going to get it from food. You can only get it from herbs. So when you know which herbs to take, that's the first step to balancing your hormone. That's the first step to healing, believe it or not. Okay, Mr. Herbalist, you're here today. Can you hear me,
I
Todd?
can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, cool. You take so long. Why you take so long?
Slow, man. You know I'm slow. Slow as molasses.
OMG. Okay, we're talking about feminine balance. The best herbs for balancing the female hormones. Now, the female hormones play a major role in their health. And if you do the research, it'll blow you away. I mean, hormones are produced by glands in the body. Well, first off, my name is Forrest Gump.
And I'm Todd Lytle.
Okay, our phone number is 888-619-4372. Our website is www.herbsoftheforest.com. Or our backup website is, name the backup website, Todd.
Oh, www.theurbanherb.net.
Okay, so now you got two places you can go and get the same products, obviously. They say, why you do that? Because that's what we do. Now, in any case, we're talking about healing. We're not talking about the management of healing. We're talking about healing. So remember, when we talk herbs, we're talking about a plant-based substance that offers or delivers what the body actually needs to heal, to balance, not to manage, but to heal and balance and cleanse, to actually replace what's missing. Now, no matter how long you've been
Can you
living,
still hear me, Forrest?
if you've been living more, yes, I can. If you've been living more than a year, then then you have to replace what's been depleted. I don't know that you'll ever hear this anyplace else. So when we start talking about herbs, we're talking about the body's ability to pull out the minerals, nutrients, trace elements that you need to heal itself. We're not talking extracts. We're talking about the entire plant, which is what makes the plant what it is. So now, balancing the balancing the female hormonal system is a requirement. Talk to us, Mister Herbalist.
Okay, so the first thing, when you hear the phrase feminine balance, that sounds like something trendy you might see in a magazine or something, the name of a PMS pain relief medication. But what a lot of people don't know is that you can balance your you can balance your hormones so that you don't have adverse effects. So, what does that mean? Well, female balance or feminine balance occurs when the hormonal system or the endocrine system is working optimally. Through the consumption of organic plant based foods, the body cleanses itself naturally while being nourished. And over a period of
Okay,
time, okay,
go no, go ahead. Go
over
ahead
a
and finish.
period
Go
of
ahead and
time,
finish.
over a period of time, what women will notice is a dramatic decrease in their monthly menstrual flow. So when I'm saying that, if you're having a menstrual flow of more than 3 days, you're toxic and your hormones are out of balance. You should not be hemorrhaging, 7, 10 days. Another thing you'll notice when you balance your hormones, you'll see a decrease in the symptoms of premenstrual syndrome like cramping and other discomforts. You'll have pregnancy. You won't have like morning sickness or discomfort when you have delivery. And last thing you will notice is that when you have menopause symptoms, you won't have as many, or you may not have any hot flashes, cold sweats, mood swings, stuff like that that people experience when they hit menopause. So that's why it's
Because
important
they're
to balance your hormones.
because they're imbalanced. Okay, but now let me say this: hormones are produced by glands in the bodies, guys. Okay, so the main glands that produce the hormones in women are the ovaries, the thyroid, and the adrenal glands. Notice I
That's
said
correct.
hormones are produced by glands in the body. So the ovaries, the thyroid, and the adrenal glands are the main glands that produce hormones. So since hormones travel through the body system, through the bloodstream, it affects different parts of the bodies. The estrogen, it affects the reproductive system, it affects the skin and the bones. So now, as you were just saying, Todd, what what are the main reasons women are suffering for hormone balances? What are the main reasons?
Well, they're toxic for one, and they're eating foods that are throwing their hormones out of balance. So, for example, if you're a man, or well, let's say you stick with women. If you're a woman and you're eating a lot of tofu, you're giving yourself too much estrogen and not enough balance. 'Cause even though you're a woman, you do have testosterone and you have estrogen. So there has to be a certain balance there. When you eat too much of get too much of one of these substances, then you're going to be out of balance. So,
Okay,
like you said, hormones do a lot of different things. So they regulate the salt levels in your blood. They regulate your blood pressure, your kidney function, your electrolyte balance, your glucose levels. So depending on which hormone you're dealing with, talking about, and where it's coming from, it's going to do something different.
and the older you are, the worse it gets. Because remember, when once an imbalance starts, if you don't catch it at an earlier age, then you kind of let it run away. So that's a factor. This is just a, a a factor in which the hormone fluctuate. One of those factors will be age, stress, and diet. I said age,
Right.
stress, and diet. So you have to think about where you are in life. If you're up in ages and you're stressing and your diet is bad, now most people don't know what a good diet is. I asked a lady the other day, I go, "Do you know what food is?" And she just looked at me like it was a trick question. God, if a woman doesn't know that a diet can affect her hormones, then she's forever imbalanced. Is that not true?
Correct. That's true. And
If
like you
she is
said, people don't
stressed,
people don't know what food is.
wow. Okay, so if you were going to help a woman today, I mean, as far as her hormones are concerned, what do you think the number one question a woman wants to know when it comes to balancing her own hormones?
Okay. So the first thing what women want to know is how to do it. And so there are several different herbs that will help you balance your hormones. And so, for example, when you go to one of our sites, you can just find our female hormonal formula. It's going to have all these herbs in there, but I'm going to just list some of the herbs that are good for your
Okay, wait a
hormonal
minute, wait a minute.
balance.
What if she wait? What if she doesn't want to take herbs? Can she balance her
Okay.
hormones without
Okay.
taking herbs?
So if you don't want to take herbs, you can not take herbs. And the consequences of you not balancing your hormones is you may end up with fibroid tumors. You may end up with some type of situation where they might have to take your ovaries out. They might have to do a whole hysterectomy on you because you don't want to be proactive. And then you're going to then you'll be forced to take hormones because once they take
Oh man, so
your ovaries out or do a hysterectomy, now they're going to have to give you inorganic hormones. They'll give you something called premarin, which is a synthetic form. It's called pre, stands for pregnant, mare stands for horse, like a female horse, and urine. So they're deriving that hormone from pregnant mare urine, and you'll be taking you'll be getting a synthetic version of a hormone from another animal. So there are
for the rest of your life.
consequences to you not taking precautions
For the rest of your life.
for the rest of your life. Yes.
Okay, so I threw that out there because there are people there are naysayers who just don't know the benefit of herbs when it comes to minerals, nutrients, and trace elements. They have no idea that those are the main building blocks for the DNA. So I asked that question predicated upon those who would feel that way. Now let's go back to the herb side. What would be the best herbs to take if a woman who heard this show wanted to balance her hormones and not not suffer from the irregularities of the mood swings, the fatigue, the weight loss, the stress. You know what I'm saying? How do we help them?
Okay. I'm gonna give you my top eight, and this is not in
Okay.
any particular order. These are my top eight herbs for balancing your hormones. Red clover, black cohosh, blue cohosh, dong quai, red raspberry leaf. That's one of my favorites. Um, chase tree berry. That's another one of my favorites. Wild yam root and false unicorn.
Okay, so stop right there. You just named plants. One, most of these people who are hearing this ain't never heard of. Two, they've never consumed them because they don't know the benefit of them. Three, they're probably going, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Okay. You know, great. I'm glad you brought that up. But let me make an analogy. Ignorance of your health is not an excuse. Just like ignorance of the law is not an excuse. If you don't know that you're supposed to stop at a red light and you get a ticket, you can't go to court and say you didn't know. You gotta pay the fine. So if you don't know how to balance your hormones, you gotta pay the fine. Ignorance. So
Okay,
there's no
okay,
reason.
okay, but okay, wait. You're throwing it at me too fast because if I don't know, I don't know. You're right. There's no excuse for not knowing. But my doctor is gonna offer me some medication, home team.
Yeah, he is going. Okay, so what he's going to offer you is management. So let's say your hormones get out of control and now you're having hot flashes or you have fibroid tumors or whatever you have a heavy menstrual cycle. He's going to give you something for the pain. He's going to give you an analgesic, like a painkiller, because you're having cramps, you're having pain during your menstrual cycle. But that's not solving your problem. That's just covering up the pain that you have. But you're having that heavy blood flow every month, and you're having these cramps every month. And see, people don't realize is the body is holistic, so things affect other things. So let's say, for example, you're having a menstrual cycle, and you're using your menstrual cycle lasts 7 to 10 days. Most women that are having a menstrual cycle like that, they're also going to be anemic, meaning that their iron is low. So now you've caused another problem because you haven't solved the first problem.
Mm. Okay, ladies, listen, ladies. Okay, this when we talk about stuff like this, now, would you say women really want to hear about stuff like this, Doc? I,
I
I
think that,
don't really.
well, I think they do want to hear about stuff like this because 95% of women complain about their menstrual cycle. They complain
Rightfully
about it.
so, rightfully so because they're bleeding unnecessarily,
Right.
and in their minds, they think that's regular. They think that's natural.
And it's not. Okay, let me just address that. Your menstrual cycle is normal but not natural. Now, what the hell does that mean? How's something normal but not natural? Well, what that means is you're not supposed to have a menstrual cycle. However, it is a normal function based on your toxicity. So your body is um, bleeding out. You're hemorrhaging because you're so toxic. So one of the reasons women live longer than men is because they have an extra channel to eliminate toxins. They have their vagina through the menstrual cycle.
Right.
There are so many different ways your body eliminates toxins through your colon, through your skin, through your
Yep.
urine, through your breathing. But the women also have the menstrual cycle also to help get rid of toxins. So if you are bleeding more than 3 days, that's a sign that you are toxic, number one, and your hormones are out of balance.
And let me say this. Remember when I said the hormones are produced by glands in the body? I said ovaries, thyroid, and adrenal gland. Do you know the thyroid is the second brain, which iodine, your thyroid regulates iodine throughout the entire body. But iodine is the main mineral that regulates iron in the blood. So when
If
you're
you're
bleeding
if you're
out,
deficient, so what you're saying is if you're deficient in iodine, you can't even normalize your iron levels in your blood.
nope, no, you cannot. Your potassium, your magnesium, your iron, all of these are affected by your iodine. And that's just the few I'm telling you about. I'm not even telling you about the rest of them. So I said the hormones are produced by glands in the body, and the major glands are the ovary, thyroid, and adrenal gland. So it is important that you understand how important the minerals and nutrients that you must have in your body in order to regulate your hormones, in order to for those three main uh, 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 body parts to function like they're supposed to. Ladies, you got to get this. The only way to regulate your hormones is by way of nature, plants, herbs. There is no other way. Everything else will be management, pharmaceutical drug, which is not regulation, by the way. Because if you got to be on something for the rest of your life, that's a problem. If you're managing something that the body can heal, that's a problem. So you really need to get the gist of this, of what we're saying here. We're not just telling you stuff to be telling you stuff. If you have a feminine imbalance of hormones, there's only one way to balance them. If you don't get nothing, get that. What say ye, Mr. Herbalist?
I agree completely with you. Since you mentioned the thyroid gland and iodine, I suppose we need to tell people the best ways to get iodine in their body is like bladderwrack or any type of seaweed. Those are going to be the high in iodine. So your sea vegetables, that kelp, stuff like that. And that should be something that everybody should be eating on a daily basis. You need to, if you go to the store, get yourself some kelp or some bladderwrack, put it in your salad. That'll eliminate your iodine deficiency. And see, when iodine deficiencies cause a lot of problems. I mean, if it's very severe, it'll cause dwarfism. But if it's not that severe, it can cause fibroid tumors. There's so many things that can happen when you don't have your minerals in balance. And that's a topic for another podcast.
I
However,
guess because
sticking
I was
on
about
this
to say
topic,
dwarfism. I was about to say dwarfism. You're talking about the birth of a child.
right?
See, so but for those that don't know that, that's how important iodine is. It affects the mental makeup for a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Iodine does. So it's super important to balance your hormones because so many things are at play, and so many areas of the body are in a position to be damaged. So you don't
Right.
want that in your life. So it's important to balance your hormones. I had a lady call me the other day, and she was talking about balancing her hormones, and her entire whole conversation was about balancing hormones. She was right. She got it.
Yeah.
She was totally right. She got it. So
And
to me, that's the first place a woman
and
should start. That's
yeah,
the first place a woman
detoxify
should start.
themselves. And
Yes.
see, this is why we have our complete body detox. We have a female hormone.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Try it again.
This is why we have our female hormonal and male hormonal formula in our detox kit because detoxing is great, but if you're not balancing your hormones, it's an incomplete process. So we definitely want to balance your hormones, and like you don't have to go out and try to find all these individual herbs that we mentioned. You can just go to our websites and find our female hormonal formula. It's going to have all those herbs in it and much more.
Keep in mind, ladies, there are a number of things that women can do to balance their hormones. Eating right, getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, and not managing your stress, but doing something about the stress in your life. Don't manage stress. Get rid of it. Okay, because that's just a few things outside of the herbs that you can actually do. Now you know what food. Did you explain to them what food is, Todd? Because when I say diet, eating a healthy diet, you know, did you tell them what food is? Because I don't know if they know what food is. This lady didn't know what food was when I told it to her. So
Okay,
I,
so
I don't think people know
the,
what food is.
okay, so the let me tell you what food is not. Food is not anything that's dead in a can or that's
On the sh-
in a
on the
box.
shelf, on the
Yeah, that's
shelf.
not food. That is those are food. Those are food like substances. And when I say like, it's like putting the ish on the end of a word. It means you're like something, but you're not the actual thing. So this is a food like substances. It looks like food, tastes like food, smells like food, but it's not actually food. So in order for something to be food, it has to be a living, it has to be alive. So that means a
Thank you.
plant. That means you're eating a plant source of food. You're eating your food live. So and that means that you can't cook it. Now you can cook things mildly, but don't go over what's the temperature for us? 100 and what?
100 anything over 118 degrees Fahrenheit is dead.
Yeah, that destroys all the enzymes in the food, and there's no nutritional purposes from after that. So you want to
Well,
be
you
eating
can't get you can't
now.
get
I
life from
know people
death.
aren't. Yeah, I know people aren't going to give up all the cooked food. So let's give them some targets. Let's try
I
to.
say 70-30. 70
I say,
30.
yeah, if you can eat at least one meal a day raw, you'll be way ahead of the ball game. That means one big salad for lunch. You know, and then gradually work toward having an all plant based diet. Now,
Well,
that's not what you want to do. At least make sure you're getting uh, raw fruits and vegetables in your diet every day.
and if you don't do that, at least take the freaking herbs. Because remember, the only reason you eating raw or alive is you want to stay alive, and hopefully you're eating for minerals and nutrients, but you're not going to get it. You're not going to get enough minerals and nutrients from even the raw diet. So to stop you right there, you absolutely have to add herbs to your diet because you can't get enough of the minerals, nutrients, and trace elements from the live foods because the grounds are depleted of most of its minerals. And all the plants that are in these herbs are not eaten regularly. So guess what? They got all the minerals and nutrients because nobody eats them.
Right.
Nobody takes
It-
plants like we're naming right now on a regular basis.
right. You're right. And you know what? You just mentioned something that made me think. You said most people they eat for me. People don't eat for nutrition purposes. People eat
No,
for
not at all.
taste. They eat for
Yes.
taste, and they eat to satisfy the hunger pangs that they have. But they don't get any. They're not getting any of the nutrition they need when they are eating.
So then where are they going to get that nutrition from if they don't get it from herbs?
They're not going to get it at
You,
all. And if you
that
don't get it
means
at all, over time you break down.
you're constantly dying on a daily basis. If you're not putting those minerals and nutrients back, you're dying. You're toxic, so you're building up disease in the body. You're building up an imbalance of hormones in the bodies on a daily basis because you're overly toxic. You're not putting any of the mineral nutrients back, so you're mineral deficient, overly toxic. You're dying. It's that simple in that order. So to offset that or to even change that, you have to start getting the minerals and nutrients back, eliminating detoxification, and start healing because that's the only way you're going to heal. www.herbsoftheforest.com, www.theurbanherb.net, 888-619-4372. Uh, anything else you want to throw out at these great women, Todd, because we're trying to help?
No, don't feel like you can't call us. We like to take calls from people and help them with their health issues or health challenges. And no question is all out of bounds. We've heard of if we don't know the answer, we'll find the answer for you.
We do the research. We love doing research. Hell, do it with us. Help us. I invite you to come on and enlighten us. Tell us some things that we don't know because we're men trying to help the entire world. We don't know everything. We don't profess to be doctors or anything like that. We're herbalists. We study the plants. We study what they do to the body. We study what they deliver to the body. And we will share with you the books in which we get our information from, our knowledge, as well as accepting your knowledge. So if you know something we don't know, by all means, I love learning. Invite me. Talk to us. Again, 888-619-4372, www.theurbanherb.net, www.herbsoftheforest.com. My name is Forrest Gump.
And I'm Todd Lynham, and thank you for listening.
Until next time.